Hello, everyone. I'm going to make a short video, but I first want to say something about a short video that I made yesterday about voting. I think we as a people need to really revise and look at the voting rights of people because there is people that should not be voting because they vote. Some people vote against their well-being. Now that doesn't make any sense. And when you have people going around saying that, yeah, I want a dictator, that person should not be voting. Because I know the first voting rights back in the 1960s, it was there to help black people to be able to vote. And then you had the voting rights for people um, to be able to um, vote without all the uh, issues that came with voting, such as poll tax and being able to read and write. And um, and see, the only thing about that was that they usually would just let the white people vote anyway, even though they couldn't read and write. Okay, and but now our system of things have been override with religious fanatics and that will vote against their own interests just to try to keep certain people in their place. So the voting really is complicated. It is really complicated. But I basically want to talk about um, um, the Valley of the Dry Bones. I was reading something this morning, and this is something that we are going through now. We are going through a psychological curse. Psychological curses are those that exert a mental strain on the mind. These curses muster fear, depression, worry, agony, loss of self esteem, and hopelessness. Some of these curses are explained below. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as a blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Deuteronomy 28:59. The word grope means to cautiously feel and find one's way. Many people ask the question, what does, as the blind man groweth in darkness mean, when in fact a blind man cannot see anyway? One African Israelite answered this question thus: all my life I have read this verse, and I did not understand it until the other night when I seen a blind man walking. In the daytime, there are people around to guide him. This verse is a very profound verse when you reflect on its deep meaning. It refers to the severe suffering and agony that the Afro Israelites would endure in their land of persecution. The suffering of a blind man who is trying to find his way late at night in a strange place, and there is no one around to guide him. May God have mercy on his soul. And thou shalt be mad for the sight of thy eyes, which thou shalt see. Deuteronomy 28:34. Many slaves suffered insanity. I'm going to read that again. Many slaves suffered. insanity, madness, and hysteria when they saw the slave masters beat, rape, kill, and sell their loved ones. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other. And among these nations shalt thou find no evil, neither shall the sole of thy feet rest. But the Lord shall give thee a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. Deuteronomy 28:64 to 65. Now, slavery was so harsh and cruel in America that many slaves committed suicide and infanticide. As I explain these verses to you, I am positive you can understand that these curses are applicable 100% to the black man in the Americans, more so than anyone else in the world. And thou shalt hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have no assurance of thy life. Deuteronomy 28:66. For centuries, the destiny and lives of Afro Americans remain in the hands of white people. Although President Lincoln promulgated the Emancipation of the Slaves in 1863 and the federal government promised protection for the freedmen, the Ku Klux Klan emerged to terrorize, intimidate, and kill the Afro Israelites. Eric Lincoln, in his book, The Negro Pilgrimage in America, states that between 1900 and 1931, there were 1,886 lynchings in America. And this figure does not include the murder of blacks by arson, poison, clubbing, strangulation, or gunfire. Moreover, there have been reported a rash of murders of black males, men, and youths throughout America, most of them unsolved and racially related during the last 2 years. Many of these murders occurred in Buffalo, New York, and other cities. This information was reported by ABC News reporter Ted Koppel on Nightline. And thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have non assurance of thy life. The prophetical curses were proclaimed by Moses, and they shall continually plague us until we return to our God. Blacks have had better wake up before it's too late. The Ku Klux Klan and other right wing organizations are on the upsurge. Black people must plan, organize, sacrifice, instruct, and control their economy and community. This is the first step. In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even? And at even would thou shalt say, would God it were morning, for the fear of thy heart where thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thy eyes which thou shalt see. Deuteronomy 28:67. Fear, death, and destruction remained with the black from the moment the slaves took him aboard. From the moment the slavers took him aboard the slave ships until the present day. Throughout the summer and fall of 1919, more than 20 race riots erupted in the United States like swarms of locusts, and blood flowed like water in the streets of the American cities. The worst race riot engulfed the city of Chicago, where whites killed a lonely black boy because he chose to go to a white beach. The boy just wanted to show the whites how much he loved them. and it cost him his life and the lives of many more blacks. The riot ensued for 30 for 13 days, left 38 people dead and 537 injured, and about 1,000 black families were made homeless before the National Guard restored order. Now, I looked that up and it had different scenarios, but it happened. And this was in 1919, okay? So, what do you have now? It's happening, it's still happening now. Remember, it said a lot of this was happening in Buffalo, New York? Well, just what, a few years ago, a white man went into a grocery store in Buffalo and killed a bunch of black people, just shooting them because he hated black people. See, going to jail does not scare these people. When they have a mission and they're trying to make a statement, going to jail does not mean anything. Even though he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail. This boy, he was a boy. He was no more than 20 years old. And he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail. But he killed 9 people. And that happened. And nothing happened. And it's still happening. Just like that guy that went in that church down in North Carolina, and killed those people in that black church. It's still happening. But the only difference is you don't have the rights like you did back then. Black people used to get pissed and riot and went out to kill some white people. But you don't do that now. Because we got a whole nother generation of people that how would I say it? They too much to live for. They scared to die. They have seen what would happen because just like this, uh, that I read that even though the National Guard came out, even though the police came out, they did not try to arrest the man that killed the boy. They pretty much turned on the black folks. So I mean that was back then, and it's still happening now. And horrible episodes like these cause thousands of black people to feel deep sorrow and hopelessness in the American dream that invariably resulted in a nightmare. It is terrible enough for an individual to feel a condition of despair, but when an entire race becomes a victim to it, the whole social structure collapses. This is precisely what happened to the black man in America, and the hopelessness continues even until this day. And see, that's why also you have a lot of black people that go to the right because they feel that um, it makes them feel secure. It makes them feel like a shield that can't happen to them, and it makes them don't feel despair. And because we are still suffering under the curse of God, we deliberately refuse to obey his laws. As a result, we are punished. The Creator God said, I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They hate you, and they shall reign over you. Leviticus 26:17. Well, okay. I wanted to get out of here. But I just wanted to read a little bit on that. This book, get this book. Even if you don't believe in the Bible or whatever, all books have something that you can learn from. And but we do have to admit, it pretty much sounds like us. And we don't want to realize that we are the original people. We are really the chosen ones. And we have been fooled to thinking that our power is not power anymore. It's not black power, it's real power. Thank you.